What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Hustlers Kung Fu Live. Today's a special one. I got some stuff that I am getting ready to jump into. So let me do something real quick. Make sure we are cooking with gas. Aha, there we go. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Let me go ahead and get some people in the room and I'm going to explain to you what I got going on. All right. There we go. Got that out there. All right. So this kind of happened the other day when I did the video when I first got money and talking about being a corporate citizen and the things that happened or didn't happen to me. And it's really interesting how when people take things, because there there are quite a few people who have a problem with me stating the events and the facts of my life. Even before I became a corporate citizen, I didn't have problems with the police. I was never roughed up, mistreated, mishandled. And every time I say that, I come up with all of these folks who want to go off and like, well, this brother had the PhD and he Mercedes and he was hounded by the police. I don't know how many times I have seen videotapes of these so-called hounded by the police where the dude was resisting arrest or acting up. But that comment got to me because we need more corporate citizens. We need more corporate citizens. And one of the things that I'm trying to do, because I got something I want to share with you guys, because I was sitting down, I was thinking this weekend, why don't we have more corporate citizens? Why don't we have more people who have entered into the realm of being a corporate citizen? Why is that the case? Why don't we have more people who are in the corporate citizen sphere? Like, I've talked about it on this channel because I'm going to do another live stream over here on Savage Finance about this very thing. It's going to be totally different because I'm talking about becoming a corporate citizen, and there's 53 of y'all in here. This is what I'm talking about when I say I do business related type videos over here and they don't get attention. There's a few of you who care about businesses, but once again, so we're going to keep cooking with gas. So what we want to do is, I was sitting there and I was thinking, why don't we have more corporate citizens? What is the big issue that we don't have corporate citizens? What's going on? Why don't we have these corporate citizens? And I began to think it was about education. It was about awareness. It was about, so here's my goal. So I'm getting ready to do something the end of this month, the beginning of, well, all of September. I'm creating, let me see if I can get into there. Thank you, Royston, for the $10 super chat. Let me see. Aha. Okay. So off into it. All right. Let's see, can we do, let's see how the screen share is going to work. Oh, I can't. All right. So that ain't going to work. Well, let's see. All right. So hopefully, y'all are seeing what y'all need to see. All right. There we go. Once again, I realize that a lot of people are not in a position to do the full art of holding. So what I'm going to do, I created the corporate toolbox, how to start your first corporation. And this is part of the art of holding and class bundle. The links below where you can get 50% off, or you can sign up for the payment plan. Now, let me be clear, the payment plan, because I'm in the middle of some corporate restructuring. So it's going to take a few hours or probably the next day once you sign up for the payment plan for me to add you to the course. But the corporate toolbox, how to start your first corporation. The corporate toolbox will teach you how to set up your first LLC and prep it to become a holding company and therefore create massive tax advantages. This training will include prepping for business credit. All right. So this is one of the things that I've been really, really looking at. And it's part of the new level of training. Romeo, let's see. Oh, okay. That's how that works. Went from trucking to real agent, self-employed persons should absolutely become corporate citizens. Absolutely. I know. I know, man. All right, Royston, this is a corporate citizen. A corporate citizen is a person who has LLCs. Like one time I was stopped by the police and I was in the wrong, but the vehicle I was driving was registered in the corporate name. And I guarantee you that influenced the behavior. Becoming a corporate citizen is becoming a producer and a contributor to society. You have a business and you're playing the corporate game. If you didn't check it out, I've got a video talking about the corporate game at Savage Finance. It will help you, will seriously help you. But essentially, I know what being a corporate citizen has done for me. And I begin to think, what if we started an assembly line, a factory of creating corporate citizens? And it was a really intriguing notion that came to me about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I went back to bed and I woke up and I said, that's a good idea. Let's start creating more corporate citizens. So part of the deal is I got to, this is the first workout because the corporate toolbox is going to take you from being a regular citizen to starting your first corporation, but setting up that corporation to later become a holding company and for you to set up 2 to 3 more businesses after you start that. So the training is going to be about creating your first LLC, setting up your banking, prepping for S Corp election. This isn't something you have to do immediately. Transferring your company operations to your child corp. We'll talk about that. Creating your first operating company, prepping for business credit, getting your first corporate business credit card, planning and action, business development, hiring, sales and marketing. So essentially, this is going to be part of the art of holding, all that stuff that's there. Plus it's going to be, because the art of holding is kind of like grad school. And this is going to be kind of like undergrad, but you'll get both, because my goal is to help create 50,000 corporate citizens. And like I said, I know what it's done for me, and I know what it'll do for you. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to get into, Cammie, we're going to get into a lot more of that type of stuff. It's very interesting because being a corporate citizen, I have not been turned down for a loan. But why haven't I been turned down for a loan? Because I knew the loan criteria before I even applied. Like right now, the internet is so rich with data points that essentially you could go online. It's like credit score needed to get a Chase Sapphire credit card, and literally get that information and know what your credit score needs to be for you to get that credit card even before you apply. But to the video I did the other day, people don't know what they don't know. So I'm going to try to create educational systems that's going to fill that void. All right, Vincent Gallimore, that's the deal. So essentially, what I'm going to be doing is creating a school to teach corporate structure, because like I said, once you get this, let me just go ahead and say, right now, you're a regular person working a regular job, and you're getting hammered with taxes. Once we go ahead and get your corporate structure up, then get your business structure up, you will have so many tax advantages that it would literally blow your mind. Jakeem, I am not going to add this to, let me come out of there. I'm not going to add this to H undergrad, because, the art of holding in H undergrad was separate before. What I will do is give a massive discount code to the people who, who took the first art of holding, because this is going to be way more comprehensive, but it will not be added to Hustlers Kung Fu and H undergrad. It will not be, because it's going to be a standalone course, and I'm going to rework a lot of stuff and make it better. Like essentially, this is going to be beginner friendly. Like if you've never had a company, you've never started an LLC, you've never done any of this stuff, I'm going to walk you through the process, because the courses are going to be more comprehensive. Because if you can see, this is my new set, right? And this is where I'm going to film the training. So it's just not going to be there. All right. All right. Norvell, it really depends. One of the things that, I kind of advise this, that you start the service business, get it going, start making money, then create your corporation. So Francesca, yeah, we're going to talk about that, because there is the corporate components. And, let me walk you through what I went through on my way to becoming a corporate citizen. I went to business environments that taught me how to create a sales process. Then I went to Panel Systems Unlimited, which taught me how to sell office furniture. Then I took those two skill sets to business environments, which was an environment that those two skill sets worked really, really well. I mean, worked really, really well because I was operating in an environment where I could be successful. So I kind of understand what you got to go through, Francesca, because first of all, you have an LLC, but you don't know anything about running the business. You don't know how to get customers. You don't know how to sell stuff. And that's why you're stuck. And this is what the corporate toolbox is going to help you with. Cammy, thank you. Since I've been listening to you, my life has changed drastically. Awesome. Nope, a DBA is not the same as an LLC. Well, here's the thing. Now, let me go ahead and tell you, watch the video of Savage Finance. I will kind of do a mini recap here. When you get the right holding company system, you could make millions and pay very little to nothing in taxes. So essentially about year 2, year 3, once you have your stuff going, the $2,400, compared to what you're going to save in taxes in the future ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. All right, David J. Hardy. Cool, cool, cool. And we're going to be talking about stuff like, on Savage Finance, there's going to be training about when should you start a C corporation, which is totally different than an LLC. And we're going to do. All right, Cammy. So, and the training is going to go on for a while because essentially what I got to do is say how to create training for someone who A, has never had a business, B, never had a corporation, 3, has a job, and they really don't know what steps and procedures that they need to do to get this whole thing going. AJ, is a proper bank account set up for holding Oh, definitely. Definitely. The holding company situation is it's got to be properly set up. It has to be properly set up because this is something else. This is going to be part of the training. This is going to be part of setting this up because we're going to talk about how to set your banking up because the banking setup for the holding company is going to be totally different than the banking setup for the operating companies. So yes, that is a very good question. Why would you file taxes if you made no money? I don't understand that question. AEC, should the 871 SIC code be attached to my holding company, which is my first? Yes. See, this is the things that we're going to talk about because in the training, when you set up a holding company in the SIC codes, this is the thing that you'll see when you're forming your corporation. It's going to be totally different than the SIC codes that you would have for your child corp. Because essentially, I'm a little undecided, but probably what I'm going to have people do is set up their holding company and an operating company because essentially you would have to go back and rewrite the articles of organization, redo you have to do everything. There's so much you have to do. So All right, Richard. Alien companies or foreign companies. Essentially, this is something that we're going to talk about because I get hit with this a lot. Should I file my LLC in Delaware, Wyoming, or New Mexico? And essentially, if you live in Alabama, but you file your corporation in New York, but you're doing business in Alabama, you will have to register your New York corporation as a foreign entity for Alabama. So we'll be talking about that. All right. Pimping on Craigslist has made me more money. You're a savage. Awesome, man. Glad to hear that. Abdullah Sublime. Cool. MGen. Hubby does appliance repair. Been telling him that picking up, delivering, removing appliances may be a separate biz. The new LLC suggestions. Well, essentially, let's go ahead and take. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Let's go ahead and take his situation. Let's say he does appliance repair. Let's say he starts a holding company that's called MGM Holding. We'll just go MGM Holdings. Then he has one corporation that does the appliance repair. Then he has another LLC that does the pickup and drop off appliances. So that could work. It could easily work. But essentially, what I'm going to do is walk people, because one of the things, because I had some nice consults and I had a few people who got into the art of holding and they had a lot of questions. And I realized that it was too much and it was too complex for the average person. And, and people need some additional walkthrough help. So that's one of the things that we will be doing in this new corporate toolbox. Plus, y'all gonna get some swag. All right. I'll be doing this all week. So, because I've already got one t-shirt, because you're going to get a physical box with a shirt, a pen, a journal, calculator, and maybe some glasses. So all that's going to be in a physical box. And this may actually be really, really cool. So it's going to be the corporate, because, I'm thinking about, I don't know, because I'm thinking about sending you like a metal suitcase with all the swag in it. I don't know, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Doing the holding company, making myself an independent contractor as an S corp since I have a job as a mold. Well, all right. What you would do with the holding company is put yourself on salary. You would not make yourself an independent contractor, because as an independent contractor, your holding company would have to pay money on the taxes, and you as an independent contractor would have to pay money on the taxes. So you don't want to do that. But you will want to put you and your son on as employees of your holding company. Yep, Cammy. CM Training LLC. September will be my third year in business. I started a training and consulting company. My business reduced my taxes for 2019. Yeah. And the stuff that we're going to get into the corporate toolbox, it's about structure and it's about prepping and it's how you arrange stuff. Because, there will be a lot of little classes part of the corporate toolbox. Brandon Harris. I've had an LLC for 3 years, but it's never made money and I haven't filed taxes. Well, if you've never filed taxes, you could turn that into a holding company. So it really just depends on what you want to do. As long as you've paid your administrative fees and stuff and your holding company, your LLC is still good. But you may have to do an administration amendment, which is to update your articles of organization. So it really depends. It really, really depends. But what we're going to do, because like I said, my goal is to convert 50,000 regular people into corporate citizens. Because, see, this is one of the things that happens. You have a lot of people who are creating these internet businesses and they're making a lot of money, but they're not properly protecting that money. And they're taking too much money out of the company. And this is reducing their ability to become wealthy, AKA Omni and the Hellcat, because I've looked at his situation. He's got kids. He could have put, I mean, there's so many things that could have been done for him where he would still have most of that money versus it being seized by the feds. So we're going to be talking about this because, I have a lot of people who are booking consults to talk about the LLC. And that's like the LLC game is so deep. It is so much information. There's so much material that you really need to go through a series of stages. And I had a few people who bought the Art of Holding, and then they woke up this morning because I told them we were doing the corporate toolbox. I haven't heard back from them yet, but it's going to be an expansion on the training. We're going to be talking about how to write your articles of organization. Let me tell you, I had a situation with the state of Georgia. I had created a holding company and some operating companies in 2017. And I filed my stuff the way that I did in 2017, and it got rejected. And we went back and forth all week. And I finally got my LLC approved with the way that I wanted it. Because they were saying that you could not have your operating agreement in with your articles. And I was like, I teach this stuff. I know how this goes. And I finally got what I wanted. So part of the thing is this stuff is getting to be more difficult because it is the last thing you can do to free yourself from the regular stuff. Richard Moore, quick question. Should I form my holding company after my divorce? I don't have any assets tied up and I had an LLC business before we got married. Richard, really depends on what's going to happen with your divorce. Is your wife trying to get into your business? It really depends. You got a very unique situation there. Is she going to try to get something of your business? Because see, here's the thing that many people don't know. When you get married, here's how deep the legal entanglement of marriage is. That if you were in an auto accident, your wife or husband has the power to put you on the respirator or take you off. That's how much power marriage gives a spouse. And any product any wealth that is created during the marriage could be considered jointly held because it was created during the marriage. So you got a lot of stuff that you got to look at, man. Lee Turner, thanks for the $5 super chat. Good evening, Uncle G. Can I break my landscaping company down into a holding company like pressure washer hauling? Yes, you can do that. You could do that. You could create a holding company and you could separate your pressure washing business from your hauling and landscaping business. You can easily do that. So, there's so many things. And one of the things that people don't seem to understand is when you get into the holding company corporate citizen world, you can do so many different things. Like there's a you got to do a little extra work, but you can like rent your house to your business, but you got to take some additional steps, and I will include that in the corporate citizen thing. There's so many things that you can do to reduce taxation, to provide asset protection, to separate yourself from your stuff. Apparently, your spouse can put your wallet or purse on the respirator as well. Pretty much, Goddess Noel. Pretty much. The expat home, it depends on where you live. In North Carolina, I don't know of any shelters to hide money from a spouse. This is what I'm saying. Because, see, you get a lot of people who get married and then they get in a situation where they want to get a divorce and then they be trying to protect assets. But since you got married, you really can't do that. I mean, unless your spouse doesn't want to come after you for that stuff. But if they come after you, they're legally entitled to what they want, whether they helped you with that business or not. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Could a holding and operating LLC separation be used to circumvent a non? Nope. Well, it really depends. It really depends, because if you go ahead, let's say you were in the film industry and you got fired, and you go ahead and you created a company and hired people to do what you used to do, that would circumvent the non-compete agreement. But typically, if you're doing the work, it gets a little murky. MGen, why do you think so many people are resistant to this type of information, Uncle G? It's not entertaining. It's not fun. You got to do work. You got to think. You got to strategize. You got to do delayed gratifications. Oh, there's a number of reasons that people are not interested in this information. Richard Moore. Bright Butterfly Phyllis. Once he's filed for separation, if they pay for mediation and agree to keep the LLC separate, yeah, because once again, you just don't know until you don't know what your other person's going to do. But from a legal standpoint, they have a lot of latitude with that if they choose to enforce it. All right, Jakeem. You could. Polly Robinson. So it's best to protect. Yes. Yes. On Savage Finance, I have a prenup video. And typically, I kind of knew that the video, because the videos are going to be there for people who are going to come looking for the information later. But I have how to properly set up a prenup so it can't be thrown out of court and invalidated. And yes, you need to do that before you get married. Peppermint tea. I really need a step-by-step course that walked me through how to start an LLC holding, since I never had a business without being too. This is what the corporate toolbox is going to be for. It's going to be in plain language. It's going to be step-by-step, the things that you're going to do. And then we're going to have webinars and trainings on certain things so you can ask questions. Yes, it is work. Thank you, Agent J. Poole. Damon Dasher, yes, because my understanding is the holding company and the authority are two separate things. The authority is basically a license for you to run your truck, and the holding company, well, essentially, I would do a holding company, then I would do an operating company to encase my authority. But yeah, we will be doing a lot of that. Some people just don't want to run a business. That's pretty much it, man. Because essentially, like I said, I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow. It's going to be a little different than Savage Finance, and it's going to have way more people on it. Way more people. Cammy, this is so true. What's up? Pretty much. Coaster Desner. Would someone able to start a holding company in their parents' name to protect it from the spouse after coming in court? So if you want to hire a proxy, and I'm going to tell you a story of someone who did just something like this. He was in a situation where he had an acrimonious ex-wife. She was on him, and essentially he started a business, but he started the business in his mother's name, and this legally protected the money he was generating from his ex-wife. So yes, Coaster, if you want to go that route, but you also have to make sure your parents won't stick you for your paper, man. All right, MJ. Oh, this is way more for, because essentially the corporate toolbox, what it will do for you, it'd be better than college. Uh, Chris Hill, I'm really flattered, but I don't have the time. I'm running 5 YouTube channels and other stuff, so I can't really devote, because I can do a consult, because I limit myself to 2 consults a day. So that's all I can give you right now. That is all that is on the table right now. But we're going to be having fun, because I'm looking, like I said, once I get the t-shirt design, because I got one designer. And once again, you never know what it's going to be like, because you have to give it to them to design it. So I'm probably going to hire like 3 or 4 t-shirt designers and see who does the best job, because I want the t-shirt to be fire, and there's going to be some corporate citizen swag, and I got all kinds of plans for this, and it's going to take me a few weeks to get it all together and dialed in, but this is going to be fun, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about the training, because I look at my life and I look at how being a corporate citizen has saved me. And you will have some people, and once again, I would say, name one rich black person that you know of that has been shot and killed by the police. Name one. You're not going to name one. Wealth does provide insulation. It just does. Quentin Sanders, with the holding company, operating company, which one is liable in the lawsuit? Well, the holding company owns the operating company. The whole point of a holding company is the holding company never does business. The holding company holds companies, assets, and money. So it would be the operating company that will be sued if it ever arises. David J. Hardy, I hope it keeps going well for you. Victor Vanzetti, great video, Glenn. I did get your previous holding company, so set up my holding company in Delaware. I live in California and plan to run the video production operating company in California. Is this risky? Well, this is a way you can get around it. You got your holding company in Delaware, right? If you go ahead and file the operating company in California, then you will not have to register as a foreign agency, and there's no risk whatsoever. My brother was a contractor in California, got taken to the cleaners by 2 different wives. Hey, Paul Brown, it happens. It happens. All right, David J. Hardy, congratulations on your good fortune. Pretty much keep that on the QT. Rare Bird Coin, about your holding company program. This may be a neophyte question, but I have a website ready to go. I want it to be a child corporation to a holding company. I've not started either yet. All right. So Rare Bird Coin, what you have to do is start the holding company first, then create an operating company and have that operating company run the website. Engineer life skills. Since only the holding company files taxes, with all the credit cards and loans be to the holding company or operating company? Well, once again, it's your world and you can do what you want. Now, the way I would do it is I would have all of the credit and loans going to the holding company. But let's say you have a holding company and you have an operating company that makes $2 million. And that operating company is extended a offer of a loan from the bank that is running that 2 million through. So essentially you can have credit in your operating company as well as your holding company if you want to do it that way. So, but typically I would advise people to have all the credit and loans going to the holding company since that's where the money flows to. Yep. Rare Bird. Yep. You need to start both of them. Yeah, this is I'm using StreamYard. I really like it because Wirecast was giving me the blues because Wirecast just wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. Sometimes it would work. At one point, it wouldn't even work at all with YouTube. It would just go down. It was really strange. James Burst, Glendon, can I use a holding company to hold my investments and assets? And like, yeah, absolutely. See, this is why you have different sets of checking accounts for your holding company than you do for your operating company. I have a capital account in my holding company that I'm storing cash in for the real estate in 2021. So, yep, you can do that. Desiree Moses, you just stuck. Your only option, because I know in New York, you have to, the filing fees isn't that bad. It's the publication fees that are getting onerous because it can cost you like $800 to file one. What you can do, depending on what type of business you have, I don't know what kind of business you have. If you have an internet business, you can file your companies in another state and really not have a lot of issues. But if you're having a company where you're going to be doing physical work, you're going to be meeting people and stuff, that's where it gets tricky. But yeah, New York, you just kind of screwed. Peppermint tea. I'm a travel nurse without kids, make crazy pandemic money, so I need to stop playing to get an LLC before Uncle Sam kills me with taxes. Peppermint tea. I did not know you were a nurse. Did you know that you could create your own nursing agency? You can create a holding company, create a nursing agency because you would get paid way more money and hire yourself out to your company. This is the game because peppermint tea. I'm gonna tell you, I had a friend who did this. Scott Forte. Scott used to work as a surgical tech, and he was so good that the doctors asked him to work with him one weekend. And Scott went and worked with him, and next thing you know, Scott was running an agency. Because see, peppermint tea, what you could do is start this agency, get these contracts, and then hire multiple nurses and like 10x your income, and don't even be a nurse no more. Conscious Nations, I have an LLC in Tennessee where I do business. Can I start a holding company in any state? Well, Conscious Nations, since you already have an LLC, if you were going to start a holding company, you would have to sell your current LLC to that holding company because they're not connected. And potentially, I would suggest you start your holding company in the state that you live in for banking purposes and other things. But yeah, you could start a holding company because essentially, here's the thing. Let's say you're in Tennessee. You start a holding company in Florida. Florida has no state taxes, but you have an operating company in a state with state taxes. Guess what? You're going to have to pay state taxes on that income that was earned in that state. So, this is why I say just go ahead and start your holding company where you live. MGen, the whole premise of a holding company is to set up a holding company can do business with the public if you choose to, but it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of setting up the holding company. So it doesn't really depend on the type of business, because one of the things is it's like right now, since I'm doing a corporate restructuring and I got to wait on things, I actually have my YouTube money going straight into the holding company, but that's not risky at all, So that's one of the things I did. And then I just started this new fintech banking account, which was pretty sweet. I'm going to do a review on that coming up soon. And this is where my new operating company, because I got to switch out everything. I had to create a new PayPal account. I had to create a new Stripe account. I'm working on that. Hopefully that can be active tomorrow, because right now, if you go on the payment plan, I will have to add you to the Art of Holding manually, like probably tomorrow, because it's not set up. And once I get the Stripe account set up, then I can do the payment plan through Stripes. It's a trip. Pretty much. Peppermint tea. See, you had no idea. See, this is why I'm doing the corporate citizen tool, the corporate toolbox. Peppermint tea. As a nurse, a bunch of nurses. You can go ahead and create your holding company, create you an operating company, which is a nursing staffing agency, and start going out and getting contracts. I mean, you could become a millionaire like in less than 2 years doing that. See, this is one of the things, Peppermint tea, you're a nurse, you're smart, you went to nursing school. But see, this goes back to my video. People don't know what they don't know. See, if you knew this 5 years ago, you could be you could be rolling right now if you knew this 5 years ago, because everyone who owns a staffing agency, they've been getting paid like crazy. Because I think if you're a nurse, let's say you're a nurse and you get $50 an hour, guess what? The staffing agency is getting $100 an hour. Oh yeah, it's getting good. Well, holding companies in New York are, it's just expensive to file corporate paperwork in New York. Pretty much, Rod, for real estate. I live in New York. You would have to file up your holding company and then file your operating companies. But filing LLCs in New York can be really pricey because of the publication requirement. NC worker, can I start an LLC as a property management company? First, you would start the holding company. Then you would start the property management company. And essentially, you could create a situation where you can rent a house to the holding company, collect rents, and get a tax deduction. The world above, I don't know what you're talking about. I make plenty of money. And for the record, more people have lost money with Bitcoin than they have buying my courses. Yep, Stripe is like PayPal, except a little bit more smoother. Yeah, man. This is why I'm doing it. Because see, people don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's available to them because they're just living their lives. You know, they're just doing their things. They don't know what's available. Right, for real. Yep. If you're in B school and you bought the complete package, yes, this is because I went ahead and set all that up. So if you're in B school and you got all of these things, yeah, you're going to get it because I went ahead and created courses for the future. So when I start creating the courses, I wouldn't have to go ahead and add people and all this other stuff. So yeah, you'll be good to go. Leaving NYC. Jabras, hey. At expat home, there are so many things you can do. Because see, there's these government contracts that need people. Like anyone that owns a medical staffing agency has been making bank. Has been making bank. Really, it just depends if you want to do that. But yeah, you can use the holding company structure for that. The Seven Project. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. Joe Williams, you would be taking because it really depends on what kind of if you have an internet business, you could literally file your holding company and operating companies in any state, no problem. But if you have a physical business where you got to do services going to people's, that's where it's going to get problematic. CM training. I have my Verizonville at home in my company's name. During COVID, Verizon gave me 600 due to my account being a business account. Hey, corporate citizen action right there. Corporate citizen action. Sure thing, NC Worker. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Better question. There's really not a lot of difference between Stripe. Stripe is just smoother and integrates with more services. Peppermint tea is true. I heard nursing staff could charge hospitals a bill rate 200 per hour. Then pay the yeah. This is what I'm saying. I mean, peppermint tea. If you start a nursing agency and farmed yourself out, you would literally double your income for doing the same work. That's the corporate game. That's the corporate citizen angle. I want you to think about that. This is what my boy Scott Forte did. Because Scott was telling me, it's like, man, I make twice the money for doing the same job because I'm an owner. Jeremy Hampton, thanks for the $100 super chat. Just wanted to say thanks for the advice you've given out. My dog was attacked by a pit bull and the bill was almost, wow. Sorry to hear that. I'm so glad I had that money there because I followed your advice. I didn't even hesitate. It was just an inconvenience to pay it in full. See, more corporate citizen action because Jeremiah Hamilton, he has a job and it's a business that makes him $15,000 per month. This is one of the things we teach here at Hustlers Kung Fu. Oh yeah, I mean anyone that had a medical staffing agency got paid. Brandon Harris, yes, you can. That's the whole deal. Like today, if you check the community page, I pulled up Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway has like 25 companies under this one holding company. That's funny. I'm just, I didn't even address them because we're not even talking about that. Lawrence D. Adams, you can theoretically, just depends on what you're doing. Uh Actually, Stripe can be that way too, but both of them have gotten really good about that in the recent years. Yeah, Stripe is just a slicker platform, and there's going to be some, Stripe has a no credit check loan. But see, the threshold to getting a Stripe loan is much higher than PayPal. You got to run a lot of money through there. Well, Chris Hill, it just depends because essentially, if you file it straight up, because typically very few people go and look up in the Secretary of State for companies to see who owns them, except me. I do that stuff all the time because I'm nosy like that. Yep, pretty much, man. From what I hear, because a lot of people are doing this notary signing businesses, they seem to be lucrative. Yeah, I like this setup much better. This is where all the live streams would be done from. So I'm just here to tell you what's going to go down, how we're going to create this stuff, because I'll be talking a lot about this because tomorrow there's going to be a different kind of live stream on Savage Finance right here in the studio because I like the studio. I like the setup. And we will be talking about investing because I've been doing a lot of research. Do you know the average 401k balance is 92,000? The median 401k balance is 22,000, and there's only 200,000 out of all the 401ks. There's only 200,000 of them where people have a million or more. But each year, 3.6 million people retire each year or will reach retirement age. Every year we get 3.6 million people reaching the age of retirement, but we only have 200,000 people with a million. I mean, the math is wicked. Yeah, PayPal. I mean, PayPal. I've gotten like 8 PayPal loans. The most they offered me was 500,000, but the payback on that bad boy was like 650,000. So I didn't take it. Well, determine so it once again, it really depends on what you're doing, what you're setting up, and what research you've done. And we'll be covering all this stuff. The money goes to the state. If where does the money go if a person's passed and has no family? It goes to the state. That's where it goes. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy thing. All right, so that's all I got for y'all. Just to let y'all know, the links are below, and we're going to start rolling this stuff out this week, and we're going to get into it hot and heavy in September. I have some stuff I need to finish up since now I got my little studio, and I think this is doing 1080p. So I'm probably going to film the courses here since I can do that. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on. All right. So if you want to be part of the corporate toolbox, the link is below. You can pay all up at once, or you can get on the payment plan. And remember, if you get on the payment plan, it's going to take me probably a day, less than a day, to actually add you to the course and everything and send you your welcome. Also, you're going to get ultimate money as well. So just to put that out there. All right. So with that, I will see you guys later.